Let me ask you something. If somebody smashes their way into your home at 3 a.m., what are you legally allowed to do? Are you allowed to defend your family? Can you even touch them? Or will you end up in court while the intruder walks away with your stuff and their rights protected? That's the reality of thousands of Queenslanders. And today I've got somebody on the channel who's doing something about it. I had the opportunity with Nick Demento, MP from Australian Katters Party, the man behind Queensland Castle Law petition that has just hit over 51,000 signatures in under 3 weeks. And we talked about what this law really means to Queenslanders. If you care about your right to defend your family, this is one conversation you don't want to miss. And make sure you stick around to the end because Nick will give you a clear call to action that could actually help you push this law over the line. So let's get into it.
Nick, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me here today on the channel. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to discuss with you about your upcoming castle law legislation proposal. I was just wondering, can you take a little bit of time and explain why that actually means personally to you, not just as a politician, but more as a Queenslander?
I just believe, Alan, and once again, thank you for having us on your YouTube channel. It's an absolute honour and a pleasure to be able to talk about something I feel so passionate about. Why does castle law mean so much to me? I could answer that in one sentence. I think everyone should have the God-given right to defend themselves. If you've got someone attacking you, your family, or trying to take something that you've worked hard for, you should be able to defend yourself. And in that case there, you should be able to defend yourself with whatever means. And I truly believe that is a core value of mine, and also a core value shared by the KAP and obviously many Queenslanders.
That's exactly right. And, I've made a couple of videos on the castle law, and some of the comments that have been received is around about fear and, the not understanding of what a person can and can't do in a situation. A lot of comments resonated, like, what do we do at 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, what can we do? Like, do we fight this in court? Do we defend ourselves?
Yep.
Like, nobody knows where they're at. And with this type of legislation, I think it's going to, help a lot of people.
Yeah, well, when we first raised the Queensland parliamentary petition last term, towards the end of last year, we actually had 40,000 signatures in a short 5-week period. We've relaunched that petition because essentially the Labor Party didn't give us a straight answer on where they sat on the legislation, and they also ran down the clock before the legislation had a chance to be debated in Parliament. So coming into the last state election, nobody knew where the opposition or government or other crossbench members actually sat on castle law. So what we've done this time round, we actually introduced our parliamentary petition again, which will go to the incoming government. We've got an LNP government now here in Queensland, a change of government at the last election. And now, we've got 51,800 signatures as of this afternoon in a short, it's not even 3 weeks the petition's been live. So the idea of castle law is growing, and I believe there's a real push right now for Queenslanders to get this one over the line. And if I was the state government right now, I'd be listening to this loud and clear because people need this cleared up. At 3 a.m. in the morning, like you said, no one has the time to just make the split-second decision. Is my cricket bat as big as their knife? If I hit this person with the cricket bat and they fall over, then they try to get up again to try and attack me and my family, and I hit them again, and the worst is to happen. Am I then in trouble for that? Have I used excessive force there? There's all these questions that we'd like to have cleared up with legislation that's more descriptive.
That's exactly right, and the comments and everybody I've spoken to resonates exactly what you're saying. And I think one of the other fears like I have seen is people talking about that people might actually go too far when it comes to defending themselves, and something that I've been advocating very strongly. It's 3 o'clock, it's done and dusted. You're not going to chase the person down the street. What's your response to that, like to clear that up, that this is not going to be a vigilante thing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's actually one that I've fielded a number of times. And what I've reminded people is and it was the Queensland Law Society last time this bill was before the Parliament, and they gave public commentary saying this would be, basically state-sanctioned murder here in Queensland. And I think it's a really uneducated comment from someone who I'd imagine is a lawyer working for the Law Society in Queensland, because any lawyer would know that for it to be a murder, you have to have motive, and you have to have the fact is it needs a number of things to constitute as murder. Self-defense is not murder. So part of this legislation would be you'd have to prove the element of self-defense. Did that person come in uninvited? Did that person come in through that smashed glass window over there? And that would be up to the investigating officer. You've got investigating officers that will turn up in any of these situations, and they will be able to say very quickly whether or not something looks like self-defense or a plain, argument gone wrong between two people or a planned murder. Having someone coming through the window uninvited is very different to inviting someone over with a text message and then, trying to use castle law as an excuse to kill them.
Yes, that's exactly right. And some of the other feelings that I've seen resonated, some people are worried that this is only for homeowners, not renters. What are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely not. So the legislation that we proposed was quite descriptive, and that's what we want here. We want people to understand if this kind of self-defense legislation was to come in, where you can exactly use it. It was everything. The legislation we proposed was everything from a dwelling. It doesn't matter if you're renting there or own the home, your own vehicle. So for carjackings, if you're in your own business and someone comes in to attack you in your place of business, you'd have those rights as well.
And that is something that definitely needs to be brought into Queensland, and not only just Queensland, but across Australia. A lot of people are hurting across Australia, and if Queensland can be the model, then this is something that Australia can adopt.
That's right. And, I've seen some very interesting commentary from Lisa Finicaro. She's the Chief Minister up there in the Northern Territory. Just last week, it was reported in the NT Advocate, NT Independent, I should say. Get my papers right. Saying that she's heard, and I'm paraphrasing now, the calls of Northern Territory residents in regards to castle law. We applaud her in her trial up there. Starts September 1 for pepper spray for 12 months. That's going to be, everyone will be eagle-eyed watching that. Reminding people as well, Western Australia's had access to pepper spray for self-defence reasons for many years now. So the idea of castle law and strengthening self-defence legislation is growing because we have got a scenario playing out in society where people have lost, respect for not only the law or the current laws, but also respect for other people, their homes, and the fact that that's their property. So when you've got a situation where people feel like they have the right to come into your home and do whatever they like, well, then I think that's what's fueling right now a pushback from victims.
That's exactly right, and that's one of the pain points that a lot of people are feeling is, the criminals are given more legal protection than the actual victims.
Yeah, you might have seen during the week there was an incident down in Mackay some months ago where a home invasion took place, and there was a person who had actually purchased pepper spray to defend themselves. And in this situation, this person defended themselves with the pepper spray. That person has ended up in court. Now, obviously, pepper spray right now in Queensland is a Category R weapon, which is restricted. That means you can only use it if you've got access to it or you're granted access to it. The lay person on the street hasn't got access to pepper spray right now. Now, all the headlines at the start of the week were reading, man uses pepper spray to defend himself, and man charged with pepper spray, possession of pepper spray. No one's talking about the perpetrator here. What did the perpetrator who is this piece of garbage that thought he had the right to come into this person's house? This guy should be given a medal to defending his house, not being persecuted, but he was. And I think the magistrate did the right thing in this case, where when sentenced, no conviction was recorded. But in saying that, this gentleman who's had to defend himself has had to go through the court system after defending his house. He's then had to probably go and find another $10,000 to $20,000 to go get a good lawyer and a good barrister to keep him, potentially out of jail.
That's exactly right. And as you mentioned, Western Australia, they've been doing it for many years. Northern Territory, new self-defence trials. Look, at the end of the day, Western Australia and Northern Territory, nobody will do anything crazy. Nothing has been done in Western Australia that would reason why these tools should be illegal. And, Queensland should come on board with the pepper spray as well. And I was just wondering, then, Nick, have you had an opportunity to talk with the police ranks or the emergency services around castle law and, general self-defence?
It's very, very difficult to get anyone on record, in a government role. Very difficult. And I won't use too many more descriptors, but I did have someone actually contact me from one of the emergency services just the other day in writing. And I was amazed to see it in writing, saying that we support castle law. And I thought, this is someone on the front line. And like I said, I'm not here to get anyone in any trouble or anything like that, because I think there might be skirting on the edges here. But I can say that every time I talk to a police officer in person, they give you a wink, wig and nod and give you a thumbs up on castle law. And, so many other people that work within departmental roles do the same thing. So it's encouraging that, we're out there sort of, putting it on the line and road testing this stuff in the public space. And it's so good when you hear that the public supports this stuff.
Exactly.
You're on the right track.
Exactly right, and you can already see with the numbers, in the short time this petition has been open, over 51,000 votes, which is, really awesome to see. And hopefully in the next few weeks, that continues to grow and everybody pays attention to these changes that needs to come into Queensland. And I was just wondering, after this petition closes in October, what's the next step?
Yeah, so the next step is there's two pathways this can actually take right now. And this is an interesting commentary or observation, I should say. Probably the last four crime policies that the LNP incoming government has implemented or adopted as a policy have been first road tested by the KAP, by Kaza's Australian Party. And what a fantastic sort of scenario. You've got a minor party that's listening to the everyday person, whether it's down at the school fete or down at the pub talking to the guys, or down at the football or soccer grounds on the weekend talking to the parents. We're hearing those things out there what people want, so we get to road test things. We introduced first the policy on removing detention as a last resort, adopted by the LNP. Detention as a last resort was the last one. Then we had adult crime, adult time. We were the first to start talking about that, adopted by the LNP. They've also taken on board our circuit, we called it relocation sentencing, sending these youth offenders out bush as a means of incarceration. They've adopted as a policy and called it circuit breaker sentencing. And they're looking over the next 12 months to be implementing them and getting them up and running. So this would be the fourth KAP crime policy that they adopt, if they feel that the public has supported this. Now, the fact is, if they don't adopt the policy, the next step is we introduce the legislation again. After October, when the petition is actually tabled, the minister will have 28 days to respond. If it's a favourable response, then Queenslanders get what they want. That's what we're trying to achieve here. We just want Queenslanders to get what they want. We would love the government to introduce their own style of self-defence legislation. If they don't, then the KAP will be forced to introduce ours in line with what Queenslanders want.
No, that's great to hear. And I guess, I just want to know, what do you need from the viewers? What do you need from us to be able to help you to make this reality?
I think the best thing viewers can do right now is jump on the Queensland parliamentary website. There's a section there for live petitions. Get on there, give the petition a sign, share it with your friends, share it with your workmates. When you're having those barbecue conversations with your mates that are coming over on the weekend, talk about castle law, talk about it with your family. Get people to understand what it's about, but get people also to understand if they want this change, they need to sign this petition, because when it comes to the government, numbers count. Numbers count. If they can see that there's public support there, very hard for them to turn away from. Also, it would not hurt emailing the other police minister, emailing the Attorney General on the state parliamentary website. There's all those email addresses there. You can also email the Premier. Let those people know that are in charge of the state right now that you support castle law and you'd love to see that law changed.
Sounds great. Well, Nick, thank you so much for your time, and I really do appreciate it. And I hope, when we come to October, we can catch up again and have a bit of an update and see how everything is going.
Alan, I'd love to do that. Thanks to your listeners.